So as the housing price slump in the San Diego housing market basically started to subside, what about the rest of the nation? Let's take a look and see. Hey, I'm Nick with the Iannitti Group. Just want to come at you with a real quick housing update here for San Diego in the month of May. And start off with a little bit of good news, right? This is basically from Doug Duncan here, Fannie Mae. Basically said on a quarterly basis, home prices rose seasonally adjusted 1% in the first quarter of this year. That is really good news. Shows that there's still pent up mortgage demand out there and people still need a place to live, okay? I thought this was pretty good to look at here from Case-Shiller, FHFA, and CoreLogic. This is kind of, you see things are starting to turn around here towards the beginning of this year, which probably tells us that, the slump we saw last year, we still may see some fluctuations in the market, but realize it's not like this, just this spiral decline that was, originally forecasted. And as far as these single month cuts here that we saw, around August last year, those were probably the worst and they may very well be behind us. Okay. I thought this though, we wanted to look at, I thought, really kind of nailed it. Basically 92% of all major US home markets were declining. This was 5 months before this past March. And then literally they turned it around basically with them, coming back and making positive gains. That doesn't mean that all markets are, but back when we're talking about, just real quick refresher on inventory, remember anything above 6 months of inventory is a buyer's market. 6 months is kind of of inventory is pretty much a balanced market. Anything below that really is a seller's market. We're still languishing, less than 2 months of inventory in San Diego. Okay. So also important to bring up, the Fed meeting here from this past March basically said, given the fact that banks were collapsing, they probably think that there's going to be some type of mild recession this year with a recovery over the next 2 years. Keep in mind when we talk about how would that impact, home prices, realize that typically what happens is that we see lower interest rates to, essentially stimulate the economy. Mortgage rates go down, that leads to more opportunity for home buyers, right? When you look at this graph that I've shown, for years and years now, the last 6 recessions, 4 out of the last 6 recessions, home prices actually went up. Yes, in 2008, home prices went down. This was a recession that was caused by the housing market, but typically, the housing market or home prices are not affected by recessions, but mortgage rates are, right? We know that mortgage rates typically come down, so that could be good news. Okay, also keep this in mind, almost 39% of all homes in the United States are owned free and clear with no mortgage, right? When we talk about homes that do have a mortgage, 29% of those people have more than 50% equity. That's a lot of stability, right? And I think that's part of the reason why we see some of our volume is so down. So these are San Diego housing market update numbers here. These numbers are from April, right? Keep in mind they are median numbers. They are for the entire county and they are all housing types combined, okay? These percentages are essentially year over year percentages, and everything above the line are our lagging indicators, everything below the line are our leading indicators. Okay, so sales price 815, right? That's down 4.6% year over year. Okay, but keep in mind when we look at the price trend here, this is where we're at in April. Realize we're starting to kind of come back out of this, right? This was the height up here, at that about 855 last May, and we saw this drop with rates going into the summer, right? This is kind of through the last quarter, but now we're starting to see things turn around, which is definitely good news. Okay, active market time is up. It's still only 13 days on market. And our months worth of inventory, as I said, are 1.3 months of inventory, nowhere where we need to be. However, our volume is still down. And I think this is just an issue of, we have a lot of people, like I said, that have a lot of equity in their home. They may be sitting on a small mortgage at like 2.7%, something like that. And there's really not a lot of enticement for them to sell that, go buy another house for a little bit slightly higher price, but also pay a double mortgage rate, right? It's kind of a double whammy. So I think we're seeing more people kind of just sitting on their hands a little bit. So anyway, if you have questions about, what's going on in your particular neighborhood, is this a good time for you to buy or sell? Keep in mind that selling a condo right now in Point Loma versus selling a single family home in somewhere like Sabre Springs, those are two drastically different markets. We're seeing those products, getting greatly different reactions. So if you have questions about what's going on in your neck of the woods, just reach out. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, who you choose to negotiate for you absolutely matters.